Hello, everybody, and we are back. And all we can say is tonight is a bit of a roller coaster. And you might be asking why. Certainly, we are streaming on Twitch for the first time tonight, which is fantastic. So if you are hailing from the world of Twitch, please comment. We are live and we are interactive. This is currently live, but the recording we've just done is with an author, we may as well say right now, Will Dean, came all the way from Sweden, not Switzerland, in a cabin in the woods, which is where he lives without a television. True story.
We were holding him hostage. He was there. He built it himself. He lives there. So yeah, woohoo!
Yeah, hello. And he lives there with his big Great Dane. Besides that, right? So we got him on, and his signal was absolutely horrendous. Literally sat in what looked like a porta toilet, a wooden toilet, with a phone. That was terrible. But we managed to patch it up, and we'll play that afterwards, after we've had a bit of a chat and delved into the world of Twitch and all of that stuff. But we are streaming on Twitter and YouTube as normal. The only difference being we've dropped Facebook, and it's going to be a good show anyway. So what we haven't got is
we've dropped Facebook.
Facebook can do one. But this is a different format tonight because we normally have a bit more structured show. If you've got questions or anything you want to talk about right now, send it in, and we can engage. And what it's saying to me right now is we've got a visitor on the website from Tyrone, PA. Where's that?
Sounds like
I don't know.
Name of a person.
In America, Tyrone.
Hello, I'm Tyrone, PA.
And Twitch has just said it's active on my phone there. That's very cool. Tyrone. Which is weird, by the way. We tweeted earlier. Actually, our biggest listener base is America. We're 53%. And Florida is the main place. And Miami is our main PA, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Halo. Yeah, Florida and Miami, which is absolutely incredible for us. You know, someone comes from Wales. That's pretty weird. What do you reckon, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant. Tonight's interview, you really do need to stick around for it because Will Dean is such a phenomenal writer. And even though the interview had some technical issues, he's actually very good in terms of writing advice for new authors. He's probably the most passionate person I have seen about helping new authors grow and develop. So if you're in that category, you give some great advice.
Do you know what he is? And he's got amazing hair.
He does, and a great beard, and there's plenty of opportunities for you to see both the hair and the beard because he's like this for some of it. So enjoy those little gaps and those little delays because
we liked the time where I asked him a question because you were quite question heavy on this, Chris, as a big fan. And I asked him a question, and he closed his eyes like he looked like he was going to go to sleep, and he froze in that position for about 30 seconds. So it looked like he fell asleep on me. So not impressed there. His hair. Legendary. Yeah, guys, we are live. There's a few of you watching, so please like, share, subscribe, all of that business, and especially on Twitch because we're new on there and we need to grow our account there. And we will be looking into how to develop, obviously, all the graphics and stuff, the very cool things. I know there's games on there and all sorts. Chris, have you got Twitch open on your thing?
No, this would be weird.
Clearly not.
Inception
what it looks like. Let's have a little dabble. The reason we dropped Facebook, by the way, it's not because Facebook is terrible. It just didn't have much of an engagement when it comes to this. But in the meantime, let's have a little.
I thought you were going to give a really good political reason why we dropped Facebook then.
Nah, not at all. I haven't got one. Halo said there are cool icons like this, and there's a little sticker of a yellow thing with wonky eyes. I don't know what that is, but that's quite cool.
That's freaky. I can see myself watching myself.
Yeah, fantastic work. Yeah, there's a couple of not questions really. We're talking about NaMoWriMo because obviously November is coming to the end, nearly in December in 2020, which is just bonkers. The fact that we survived 2020, I think is weird.
We haven't yet, mate, but yeah,
it's still December. You're going to create a time loop. Does that mean we can travel back in time?
I think we just did a little bit.
Yeah, don't send us back to 2020. Hello, Ross. I'm here from the future. Oh shit, it's happened. Time loops is cool and scary. Oh dear God. Hello to you and welcome to the show. It's very nice to see Ross and Anya. Anya, I hope you have a tequila in hand because I haven't got a beer today. It's very sad. We haven't officially got a beer token sponsor. I have squash. That's not great.
Not quite the same. And Ross, your book's coming out very shortly, which is fantastic because there's only 5 sleeps left before we can
Woo!
read Get Dead Dead. So I'm very excited about that, and I hope you're not still editing.
I have tequila. Yeah, we like that, Halo. Squash.
Not Halo.
Yeah, squash juice. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Or Gloomwood. Gloomwood indeed. So, yes, apart from NaMoWriMo, we want to say, as 53% of our listeners, American fan base, whatever, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. I heard that's kind of a big deal. And obviously, you've got things like Macy's Day's Parade that kind of isn't going to be the same. And a lot of families that probably won't be able to mix as they normally would. But just make sure that you're all having a good time and where you can. So, mass turkey slaughter day. I'm not sure that's how it's officially known.
This is a weird question. Do they have turkey on Thanksgiving and on Christmas?
I think so. It's a lot of turkey going on. I don't know.
I'm really keen on your turkey, about it.
Yeah.
Within less than a month.
Don't speak to Will Dean about his turkeys because he probably has to chop his own up in the forest. We love slaughtering turkeys for holiday. The turkey uprising begins tomorrow, and that's a different story.
That sounds like a great story, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. The uprising. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Oh, wow. So, yeah. Yes. Interesting interview indeed. Oh, here you go. Anya says, some people eat turkey on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Other have ham on Xmas.
Oh, ham on Christmas? Come on.
What, like a honey roast ham thing?
Yeah, it'd be like a big glazed ham, I should imagine. But ham on Christmas Day?
I think maybe Boxing Day kind of food or a bit later on. I don't think that's a Christmas thing. And we are. Our Christmas show is approaching very soon. In fact, maybe 7 shows left. I'm not sure.
But one thing you say we're going to cook a ham. We'll have a ham off.
No, we're not having a ham off. I might have a slice of ham.
From your local spa, which features in Will Dean's book.
He does. The ham
connections all over the place.
And whichever one dies first gets eaten. Yeah, why not? I think
in a pig battle of turkey would be pretty impressive.
Ham and turkey on both holidays. Our family is picky. Well, that sounds hello to you.
Or extremely rich.
Yeah, you feast on these days.
We have both and a side of pheasant.
I think a pig could take a turkey.
In what way?
Yeah, wine and dine, of course. Unless the turkey has backup.
What would you call a weird hybrid of pig and turkey? If that did actually. Yeah, like that. You got a turkey, baby.
Oh my goodness, there's a perky. Bacon disguise. Yeah, perky.
Turkey's
I like perky. I think we should have a perky. Maybe that should be our mascot, little teddy bear. So when we go on tour, that we can take. I think Halo mentioned take photos of it everywhere.
Yeah, pigs can't fly, but a perky can.
Hey, yeah, why not?
That's why I asked, can turkeys fly?
There's a feature on Twitch, Halo, that I think you'll be very fond of, and I'm trying the best way to figure out how we can utilize both of them at the same time because we use StreamYard. It kind of doesn't work the same way, but when we do special shows on Twitch, which me and Chris have talked about, we can have these games and things on there where they can have you can have duels with people in the chat and stuff, and that's definitely up your street. It's not quite fight to the death. We know how much you love that. A perky mascot, yes. Sounds quite gamey. I don't know. A perky. Games, yes, indeed. Many of those, and war. It's a very violent show. Is Thanksgiving a violent thing, or is it just the stress release before it? Not quite sure on that one.
You can also get stress relief if you. I was going to say tackle your perky.
Your perky. Black Friday is violent. And
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I've seen them. Horrendous.
What, black skulls? There's no Nick Cage there, Halo. Which is the first time maybe in months you haven't
Yeah,
had a
but
Nick Cage.
I like the fact she's come to Team Death.
Oh yeah, Team Death.
100%.
We hide underground and sacrifice goats. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
I avoid stores like the plague. Do you know what? On the news yesterday, I know the news is kind of bullshit in most cases, but it said 90% in the UK, this was 90% of Black Friday deals were actually as cheap in different times of the year than on Black Friday or in this time. So 90% of deals are not deals. So just be careful with your money and your pennies. Use them wisely.
I see that a lot with books. People go, I got a brand new deal. It's 99p. It's like, it's
Yeah.
99p last week.
And the week before. It's like
it's always 99p.
There's a shop in the UK, I can't remember what it is, but it's on the closing down sale constantly. It has been for the last like 10 years. This is gas. What does gas mean? Why are we on Twitch? Is this where I come for Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah, pretty much. Why are we on Twitch? Does he mean us?
Yeah, I think he's talking generally.
Round of applause if anyone can figure out who I am.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got to be Connor.
Rumbeak.
This is gas.
If it is, you've just offended him again. So.
Round of applause. Halo nailed it straight away. They got banned from Facebook for spreading false news. Yeah. Keep pennies from the sideline for Facebook. At BF. BF? What's a BF participant? I don't know. Damn it, Halo. It says Ron Beak. I always sniff you out. Yeah, Ron Beak. Oh, Black Friday. Thank you. I'm very stupid. There's no cure for it. And yes, Black Friday, we did get that. So yeah, there's lots of closing down things, but again, it's just watch your money. And I like your thinking, Anya.
You spread some fake news. I think that'd be quite fun.
Fake news. Do you know what I want to actually? There's a game I do want to play, and we will put the interview on later, and we'll chat with you whilst the interview's on. Just we haven't had a Chris and Chris chat for a while, and I think it's quite cool. I'm gonna have a game with you now.
Good fake news to share, I think, is
Black
Friday,
not fake news.
Yeah. If you go out on Black Friday and you're actually wearing black, you get an extra 10% off.
Okay. I'm gonna give you. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Let's do a different one. Let's try that. No, this is not good. It's great telly for you all.
It's not though, is it? How is it? You can't see my breath, but I can see it.
Okay.
That's how cold it is.
Okay, maybe not. You talk about something, Chris. That would be nice.
So Will Dean's coming on. I read his book, The Last Thing to Burn, and I actually reviewed it on the show. It's not out until February. It doesn't come out, but I got to read it through NetGalley, and it is brilliant. It's a mixture of misery and room, and I think that is probably the best way to describe it. It's about a woman who's been held captive from Vietnam in a remote place in, I think it's Scotland. I can't remember if it was Scotland or Birmingham. I'm pretty sure it's Scotland. But the main character, Len, one of the main characters is from the Midlands. And it's sinister. Some of the bits I was reading it, I was like, I'm going to have to look away for a bit because that's quite... Yeah, it was really vivid. I think his writing is so good. Like, we all know Halo's work, and when we've read Halo, some of her Halo scenes are like, oof. And yeah, Will Dean was equally as sort of like, do you remember that Chuck Palahniuk story that he was reading and people were being sick and fainting?
No.
Yeah, he did a reading. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. That's going to annoy me. But he did a reading, and every time he did a reading from this short story that he wrote, people were being sick and passing out, just because it was so like well written and really grotesque and violent and horrible. But yeah, it did remind me of not of that obviously because I wasn't sick or anything, but at a moment I was like, that's pretty bad. So yeah, it's a great book.
Chris is back in the attic, and did you get kicked out of the cupboard under the stairs?
I didn't get kicked out of the cupboard under the stairs. I'd much rather be there, but I did the parental mistake of letting my child sleep about an hour before his bedtime. So he woke up and he was like a little monster. And we had Will Dean on, and I was like, "No, he can't ruin this interview." And the missus was like, "Go in the loft. Go in the loft."
Andrea,
So,
Andrea,
yeah.
hello to you. Is there torture at least in the book?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mental torture, like I'd say the whole book is along that vein, but yeah, there is some physical torture as well. Some quite a few uncomfortable scenes, but very
Making
well
people
worth reading.
on the buckets list. I'm not surprised in that, Halo. Your stuff is quite good in that respect. Okay, this is what I was going to do. What year is this? You have to tell me who. You can chat on the chat as well. First one wins. Don't Google anything as well, because that's just cheating, and there's no point doing that.
Do you know, I was thinking about the Kristen Bailey interview the other day and the technical issue that we had, and therefore I lost the Take That question. Best of three. I was still disappointed.
I think you're wrong. I think she had you anyway, and
you were lucky to. The very first question I got right, and I was like, "Yes, I've won." And then that anticlimax of not winning just put me off.
Oh, what can I say? You just went at the gate at the races. Okay, so what year was this? The 10 million light bulb was invented.
10 million light bulb.
Yeah,
what,
anyone got
that? Or what? $10
million, man. It's not going to be 10 million watt bulb, is it?
I don't know. Why would you pay 10 million pounds for a light bulb?
People are stupid and they got too much money. Okay, moving on.
Did you give the answer to that?
It's the same year. This is all the same year.
Ah, right, okay.
No cheating. The smart thermostat.
Chris, this is a writing show. Give us book-based questions.
2012. I haven't had that much time to do this. Controller-free gaming. This is on Twitch. People might know this. Controller-free gaming. It's not 2015, Halo. Not 2017. Okay. Teleportation. That's actually on the list.
No, it's not.
It fucking is. Okay, moving on. This has got to be a lie. Tweeting by thinking. This is a wind up.
I mean, surely every time you tweet, you do think about it.
$20 knee. I have completely found a made up list. I'll carry on, and someone guessed it. The beardless fan. That's clearly wrong. And I said that wrong. It's bladeless. The custom puppy, the cyborg beetle, the robo penguin. If these are actual real things, my mind is blown. Wooden bones.
Is there an actual answer to this?
Yeah, there's a year, but I think this is all complete bollocks.
Is it a year that's yet to transpire, or is it a year that's in the past?
No, it's actually happened. It's past, and people are 10 years ahead of this.
So 2009.
Is correct. Yeah.
Oh, nailed it.
2009. Well done.
There we go.
I can't believe that list. I just read that out on air. That's horrendous.
Fake news.
Fake news. Terrible stats, fake news, and a jumpy fucking podcast. Welcome to the Writing Community Chat Show. It's what we do. And there's no excuse.
This is a one-off.
It's a one-off. Let's talk a little bit about NaMoWriMo, because, like I said, it's approaching the end of November, which is kind of bonkers that this year has gone that quickly and slowly at the same time. 10 years ago. How was that fair? So we had a couple of people respond to the tweet we sent out about NaMoWriMo, and someone, who's this? AC Merkel, stopped when my story ended at 39k, looked over it and read backwards.
I read it backwards. That was a challenge.
Oh, what's wrong with me? It's all this editing and trying to get this show ready kind of messed my head up. Decided I had a nice novella, and the other 11k words would just bog it down. And I agree with that. I think why NaMoRime was great for motivation, but why hit 39,000 and then have to make up 11,000 that just don't fit the story or make it kind of feel like it's been drawn out? So well done for that, I think.
Yeah, talk about. Well, I was going to say kill your darlings, but he didn't cut 11,000 words. He just decided not to write them.
Yeah.
Which, fuir play. If
you went, fuck the patch. I've got this far, and I'm
let
happy
it
with
be
it.
what it is. Yeah, and it's impressive that he wrote that in a month, or just over a month.
Well, the target is 50k, isn't it?
Yeah, the target is 50k, but 39,000 words in a month is, good going. That if you talk about 3 months, that's a massive. Well, not a massive novel, but it's bigger than most side novels.
Kill your darlings, kill your characters, or cut words,
or both.
I can never write 50k in a month. Yes, you could. You could,
because you know the writing ability of this person.
Absolutely.
Yes, you could.
All you have to do, right? I did that novella recently in fucking 10 days, and it was 30,600 words. And yes, I needed to edit that afterwards, but you just go in autopilot, write your story as your mind sees it. Then you can get to 50k, and then you cut the story down or add, make it whatever. So it's exactly 39 is a great accomplishment. It is awesome. Kill your darlings means to be ruthless with scenes. Cut the things that aren't important. Yeah. So why not? Why not?
It's true.
I have been interpreting that advice in a different way. Cool.
So she kills beloved characters. Off you go.
It's so dark. She just kills them all. I'm a slow writer. Most of my books are 100k or more. It takes forever. I'm not surprised. I actually thought this novella that I was going to write was going to be my biggest story, and it ended up my smallest. So I don't know how that happened. But well done to you for writing over 100,000 words, because honestly, that seems that's like running a marathon to me. Just not going to happen.
Although collectively, you've probably done that now.
Yeah. Over 3 books, yeah.
Yeah, but you've done it.
Yeah. But, well, 100k is epic. You're correct, Halo. So
I reckon a lot of us on here, sorry, Chris, are a part of the 100k club.
Yeah, most of you will be.
Yeah. That was my target when I first started writing. As soon as I got 100k, I was like, the end. Bye now. I've done it.
Well, me in writing, it was kind of it's not something I followed all my life, and you can tell I talk a lot more about films and TV, a lot more about the graphic side of this and doing all this stuff. So it's not like I don't like.
Have you found this before? This is a spoiler for people who watch the interview, but Will Dean has not watched TV for 4 years. So how do you feel about that?
I felt a bit weird. I was waiting for him to tell me he was vegan or something. Sorry if you're vegan. Don't mean to offend you.
How does that even translate to watching TV?
Because he was very much like, I don't watch telly.
You don't watch TV, so clearly you don't.
I live in a fucking forest. I wrote a dark, evil story about the woods and stuff, but I live in the woods. I'm like, something not quite right about this guy. He's good looking. He writes weird stories about the woods. He lives in the woods. Can you put the things together now?
Maybe cannibalism, but not veganism.
Yeah, cannibalism. I don't know.
Do you reckon you could do that?
Live in the woods?
No. Not watch TV for 4 years.
If I had the show, if I had this, yeah. I've got to be distracted. We have a special handshake. Oh, thanks. I'm left out of that handshake. We lick each other's brains. They would say we're guys' brains are. Yes, prizes all around. Okay, nice. So yeah, well done, AC Merkel, for writing 39,000 words and deciding. I think it's really like well done of you for saying, look, I'm done, and not feeling pressured to write that extra 11,000. Put yourself under extra pressure for something that's not going to benefit your story. So I think fantastically well done.
Yeah, well done for sticking it to the man.
What is these prizes?
Okay.
I couldn't live in the woods like that. I couldn't do 21-day naked and afraid challenge. Well, 21 days naked.
Challenge I've never heard of before.
Guess what challenge is coming up, Chris Hooley? Our fans like us to do video things.
Yeah, I've never been afraid, but the naked bit for 21 days. Oof, especially where he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm close to the finish line and I have plans afoot for cover design. Excited, Karen Honor. This is less it's more of a statement. So well done for being close to the finish line, because that sounds very good.
And well done for sounding like Sherlock Holmes.
I know it, Anya. I do know them. Are they in warm climes? Excuse me?
They in warm climates. The Naked and Alone or Naked and Afraid things.
That's not real, Anya. Someone's messing with your TV. Yeah, they basically just get dumped off naked with random people, I think, sometimes, and then they just go and try and survive, which is just weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
I grew up between two forests on the top of a mountain. I love the woods. Cool.
Good job you included the S.
He does indeed love the woods. Cool. So well done, Karen Honor, for getting near the finish line. It is near the end. I know people struggle with this too. So, okay. I could deal without TV if I trained my army of goat corpses to entertain me with Shakespearean plays. Oh, wow. If someone's got like graphic ability to create cartoons or whatever, I would love to see a Shakespearean goat play.
You'd need a pig to do Hamlet.
What do we call it? A pig? A piggin? No? Chicken and a pig?
I can't remember.
A chicken and a pig?
Turkey.
A turkey. A turkey. Thanksgiving turkey. Yeah. I love how Irish trees smell. What type of trees are you talking about? Island woods are pretty, are they? Perky.
Mario's definitely missing from this conversation.
He is. He loves talking of the woodlands.
Turkey Durkin.
Cool. Turkey Durkin.
Durkin.
Durkin. What is the best thing this is the best thing I've done for myself in years. 40,000 at Magnolia 3619.
Wow.
That's fantastic. Again, 40,000. It's 1,000 more than AC Merkel, but don't gloat about it. Okay? Magnolia rocks. The color or this person? There's a squid? Is that a squid? That is awesome. Magnolia. Yeah, so that's pretty much the Nemo stories. If you got on the chat, Nemo stories.
Oh, what do you think about, obviously, me and yourself did we did a little bit of advertising with a video that was not related to our book in order to gain some attention. So I had a kitten in mind. You had a kid smashing a window, and then Mr. Ross Young had a puppy and trumped us all. So what do people think of advertisement at the moment? I've run out of ideas, to be honest. I've done everything. So what can we do to make advertising cool?
Ross, how do you make a squid laugh? I'm still waiting for the punchline. I'll just interrupt you for that, Chris. Yes, carry on. I don't know, Ross. How do you make a squid laugh? It's better be good. It's a question. We can have answers. I don't know. I apologize. I haven't tickled its beak. Gave it 10 tickles. Hello, Dave. 10 tickles, like.
Okay.
Don't know.
What's that? Hello, Dave. Oh, that's off League of Gentlemen. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Like it.
Yeah. Thank you, David. Thanks for the important advice there.
So, advertising, little puppies. What do we think?
What was the question?
No, just I used a little kitten video.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mr. Ross Young used a puppy, and you used a teenager smashing a window. Like,
he was not a teenager.
We're trying to get creative with advertisement. We've done it all now. So what else can we do?
Get naked.
I feel like only Anya would probably watch that based on what TV history.
The puppy once sold a pre-order for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
The puppies do work.
Yeah. We also did something amazing. on Twitter this week, and you guys interacted with, and it was what was it called? Book Exchange Daisy Chain, and this is an idea.
That was fun, I like that.
Yeah, we came up with this idea. 10 tickles, tentacles. Oh, thanks for clearing that up. So we had this idea that, and any of you can do this right now. But what you do is you go onto Amazon and find an indie author, and there's plenty of us in the writing community, and you all know each other. Buy someone's book as an ebook, and you buy it as a gift option. And then what you do is you send that gift option to someone you like or someone who you don't even know. Pass that book of someone's onto that person. Hopefully they'll read that and then leave a review. But what you're trying to do is create a daisy chain and create a spark of sales for people in the writing community, for the indie authors, but also not only just the sales, create a bit of analytic boost as well, which is quite important for getting your book seen. So if it ends there, then you can just treat them and say, look, this is a book as part of the daisy chain thing, whatever. We're hoping that we can continue the chain. If you can't afford it and don't want to, fair enough. But if that can carry on and they can buy someone else a book and they can buy someone else a book, then we've made 3 sales for the writing community. So that's still floating around Twitter if you want to be part of it.
It was a great idea, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy this book. So I bought Ross's book, first one, Deadheads, and I was like, I'm going to gift this to somebody. And then I was like, who do I give it to? Because obviously you've got restrictions because you can't give it to someone in America from the UK because it doesn't work. So straight away that cut off like half the people that I knew and was engaging with. And then I was like, right, well, who's going to appreciate it for one? And who's going to actually read it and find it funny and then spread the word? And who will also carry the chain on? So it was a very difficult decision, but in the end, I managed to pass it on to Chris McDonald, who's actually coming on the show, and he's got a new book himself, and he gifted a book, so the chain did carry on. But yeah, a lot of pressure in that, mate. A lot of pressure.
It is. And do you know what? I did exactly what you said. I bought it and then tried to give it to this girl in somewhere else, and she couldn't receive it. Then I tried to give it to Connor, but he's in Ireland, and for some reason it doesn't incorporate the UK. Ireland isn't part of that on Amazon. Couldn't give it to him either, so I just gave it to someone else. And it took ages to give it away.
Well, that's what I didn't want. I didn't want to just be like, oh, I'll give it to that guy. Like, I wanted to give it to someone who I knew would appreciate it. And yeah, how many of you are there? Well, there's going to be at least 3 on that show. So
yeah, that's the old new Beyonce song, "Who Rules the World." Chris is, and that's about it, really. There's a question for you: coffee or tea?
I'm going to give you a difficult answer there because it depends on the time of the day.
Oh well, yeah, I agree with that. But if you had to, if you said you got to get rid of one.
Oh, that's harsh. That's really harsh.
And yeah, coffee, Halo coffee, clearly. For some people.
Yeah, I think I'd have to keep coffee because it's stronger. And I feel like...
Murder tea. Murder tea. So you'd keep coffee?
Yeah, I think I'd have to. I think it's more beneficial.
Definitely. I kind of agree. Everyone kind of likes coffee. I love chai, but I love coffee more. Yeah, and you can put like spirits in coffee, right?
You can.
And yeah. Yeah, so
that's coffee would be horrible.
Yeah.
Be an absolute nightmare.
Tea? No one said tea, so I can't even use that image. What tea? Answer carefully. What tea? Doesn't matter.
Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire tea. Did you see my tweet the other day, Chris?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
I'm not a bit jealous.
Summer or
winter? Based on right now, I'm going to say summer because I'm absolutely freezing.
Chris is freezing his tits up in his loft. And so am I. I've got my not writing community. I've got my writing community t-shirt on under there, but I had to put my.
You've got a t-shirt on this week. What you had on last week was just, I'm showing everything to everyone. Look at my smoothness.
It wasn't everything.
It was almost. We've seen a lot of parts of your body on this show now, Chris. We saw your backside a few weeks ago. Last week we saw very much a bare chest. So yeah, maybe it's a Friday thing. Maybe a new agate body part every Friday.
Yeah, wouldn't get as far with it. Anya says coffee with Bailey's ice cream is great. She didn't get
Ooh.
accidentally tipsy on it. She full on purposefully got tipsy on it.
Maybe she did. Maybe she's the type of grandma where everyone was like, just stick a bit of Bailey's in it. She won't know. You know, the type of grandma that just needs
Should be
silence in a
asleep
bit.
she's had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Winter.
complaining about the ham.
There's
You know, we
no,
had turkey Thanksgiving. Now we've got ham, and she's moaning. Let's give her some
there's no-
Bailey's ice cream.
There's no, reason behind it, but winter. Birds get drunk on berries, apparently. Thanks. I hate tea and coffee,
Whoa.
apart from the odd herbal tea.
How do you survive? Like, seriously.
There's a guy in work with me. He doesn't drink tea or coffee or doesn't drink alcohol. I have no idea how he gets through the week or the weekend if that happens. I have no idea.
Is he a priest?
No.
Oh. Does he work in IT?
No, he doesn't. Connor, how dare you slam the coffee's name?
What was that last one? I kind of blurred the two words.
Because she nagged him too much.
Yeah, see, told you. There we go.
Nag, have this coffee.
It did pique my interest, that, because I blended she and nagged at the same time. I was like, what? What did she do?
People used to spike her because she shagged them too much.
That'd be a very different grandma.
Bad grandma. Where is bad grandma, by the way? She's like been off the radar for a long time. My boyfriend doesn't drink tea, coffee, or alcohol. He gets kicks from chocolate. Wow, I get my kicks from all of those things together.
In unison.
Cake or ice cream?
Oh, cake.
Oh, no way, ice cream.
No.
Do you know if you go to like a restaurant, not McDonald's, like a real one, I will order a vanilla ice cream for dessert.
Because you're 5.
I'm 5. Not 5.
You get jelly as well.
No, just vanilla ice cream, plain.
Oh, this is a question for Americans. What do they call jelly? Like, because their jelly is jam.
I am hard yet soft. I am coloured yet clear. I am fruity yet sweet. I am jelly. What am I?
Crazy. No, but seriously, because they have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which is jam.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So what's their jelly then?
Ice cream, cake can burn in hell. Jello.
Oh, there we go.
Can we have more slang from America? What's your jelly?
Jelly.
Jelly. Jelly.
Jelly.
Jelly is their jello. Or the jam is their jelly. But America's jam is weird. That's a great comment. On the boned dust shit. I'm confused.
Oh, the bone dust shit. That's what she's talking about.
Jelly is jam without fruit. Jello is gelatin stuff.
Ew. That doesn't sound fun.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so ice cream for me, definitely. What cake do you like, Chris?
Oh, I'm not prejudiced against cakes. I like all the cakes. Yeah, all the cakes.
If I had to cake, I'd have a gâteau of sorts. Or chocolate cake.
Not a fan of the gâteau. Yeah, it's pretty moist. I like red velvet. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of red velvet.
Our jam sucks.
You should send Halo some jam.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. Giveaway. What's the giveaway of the Writing Community Chat Show?
We're going to send you jam.
Cheesecake, yeah. But it has to be a crunchy bottom. Your butter is amazing. Guinness cake, now you're talking.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm sure Ron Beak can sort us a Guinness cake out.
That's not stereotypical at all.
But we talked about this, the island tour. I'm very excited. Oh, we've waffled on for 40 minutes.
We're not going to be allowed in Ireland, mate. We'll literally get to the border and we'll be like, no, you two, with your terrible accents, off you go.
Now you're talking. That's nice.
Oh, that is a good choice. Like it.
We all need to eat box tea. What is this?
Now?
Say what?
You
Black
did what,
Forest.
Coxie?
Guinness bread is awesome.
Wow. Oh, I think the Guinness sounds tempting.
I know. I just got Guinness on my mind. Guinness on my mind. Okay, so look forward to obviously the interview that we're going to play, and we're going to keep chatting when that's on. It's about 7 shows till our Christmas party.
Wow.
I think. And if the Halloween party's got anything to go by, that means we need a writing prompt on the go.
Oh, Christmas.
Should we do a Christmas-based writing prompt from the group?
Don't know about Santa-based.
Yeah, it's going to be a festive one, Chris. It's the
no, I know, but there's a lot of people out there, I think, who would, if they got hold of Santa, they would do terrible things to him. So
that is true.
Maybe we leave Father Christmas out of this one.
Oh, it's an Irish thing. Box tea, pronounced box tea. Box tea is potato pancake.
Oh yeah, they're good.
A Christmas Carol modern day. Yeah, we could do that. Can Santa get naughty? That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, you see already the ideas there. And I'm seeing a lot of sack jokes, to be honest. In this.
Yeah, but the quality of the writing prompt story last time was fantastic, and the fact that we had little weird characters to voice was hilarious. So if you would like to vote, hand up. If you can send us a sticker from Twitch or whatever you're watching on, or just hands up.
Yep.
Who would want the writing prompt story for the Christmas party to be Christmas based? Please place your hands up now. And
I like the idea of taking or giving the reindeers a voice. You know, terrible working conditions.
When I was young, I wrote a Christmas story where Jack Frost kills Santa and puts his decapitated head in a gift box.
Wow.
Who did he give that box to? That's quite interesting.
Very special gift. Eternal Christmas token.
Halo would be an amazing Ghost of Christmas Future. Yeah. Oh, there's a hand. There's another hand. Jesus.
Wow.
Cool. Lol. You always do horror and murder. Look at your comfort zones and leap from them. Cool. So that's a bit 50-50 though. We've got like 11 people on the thing and 3 hands. So
we could do a romance, or we could do erotica.
A Christmas erotica.
Why not? People have sex at Christmas.
You just said about not doing that to Santa, and now you're writing Christmas.
Yeah, we don't have to do it to Santa. We don't have to get Santa involved.
Yeah, but you know, you might write the first chapter and it's going in the right direction, and someone sends the next chapter back, and Santa's fucking doing all sorts of naughty stuff, and he hasn't left the fucking workshop yet.
Yeah, I mean that's how it started. The last writing prompt it was born from this sort of format on it. Like we said, what should we do? And then people suggested stuff. So maybe we could do that now.
Yeah, you can. I don't know. I think I just think that I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. We've got to pick a theme, and why can't we do a rom-com? You know, one of my favorite Christmas films, and not sad to say, is The Holiday.
I actually agree with you. It's a great film.
It's a great film, and so we could do a rom-com.
Yeah, we could have a rom-com in the same format of the Holiday, with 4 different characters, and then if people wanted to get involved, we could say, well, here are the characters, and which character do you want to write from the perspective of, and then we could give them the chapter of that character. So we could write the first 4, and then they could all come together in unison.
Do you know what would be amazing? But we can't ever do this because it'd take too long. But we could say, like, the 4 of us go to dinner, and I write, you say something and send it to me. And then that's the conversation at the table. So I say the next thing, and the conversation builds in reality from the characters' perspectives, because we all have a character, but that's never going to work. I don't know. Everyone should narrate the bit they write. That would be quite cool. We could do that.
That's a good idea, actually.
Do it live on the show.
Yeah. Although, sometimes people don't.
Sorry, got a bit excited.
I was going to say sometimes people don't make the cut. Because
how could you say that? Because they were shit.
Don't. Not that they were bad. They didn't fit the brief. Like
Yeah, well, we got to be selective about what parts of the story go together, and it's just like
And
X Factor, can't have them
yeah,
all.
no, exactly. And this is not to discourage anyone because a lot of people who've done it have been really good. It's some people when they read it, I'm like, did you even read the chapters before, like, or the paragraphs before? Because you've literally just switched the tone, and I
Yeah,
can't change that now because it was in third person and now it's in first
we
person.
do have to try and keep the story relatively straightforward, but indeed, I think that would be great to actually have. We could proofread this, of course, so we could have up to 10 people on the stream. So say we had 8 to make it a bit, whatever. So we could have 8 people contribute towards this story, and we come on and we all hold the script, and then we say it in sequence, as the story unfolds.
Oh, like Love Actually, where each character's story. Oh, we could pair people up. We could pair people up and say, you've got to do the rom-com element for you pick a character, pair up with somebody else, and you intertwine the stories, but they all take place in the same place. Like it does in Love Actually. So Love Actually, it's all the same story, isn't it? Like they're all involved in the same world.
Right.
Have you seen Love Actually? Come on.
Yeah, of course I have.
Right, so you've got different characters,
Yeah.
love stories within the same world,
yeah,
in the same setting. So
right.
they could do that. So say, for example, Halo paired up with Mario. Halo could write one character's perspective. Mario writes the other, and we get nice little snippets of the two, but they're all set in the same place. So it's like we've created a world within the world of the writing community.
Cool. Yeah. I'll let you handle that.
It's fine. I'll just pair people up. I'll be a matchmaker.
Yeah, you do that. Okay. Yeah, the Christmas party. So let's do a writing prompt. We'll work on that, and then on the day it'll be fun, and we can have the show like before. We may even host it on Twitch and hopefully get some games and stuff on there. We'll see if we can get it done by then.
And because this is fake news, we're going to get it animated. So
yeah, absolutely.
Different Fallon's literally got in touch, and yeah, he's going to animate.
Jimmy Fallon's on the show. Not true. So we haven't done the writing community member, which I'd like everyone to get involved with very, very shortly.
Oh yeah,
we've got a tip, and this is work stories out in your head when you can't write, and that's by Canadian author Alice Munro, who was given the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2013. And that kind of sums up what
work stories out in your head, as opposed to what?
That's what Will Dean said right earlier. If you get stuck and you kind of like your writing is not really going far, just take a step back.
I don't.
Do you know what, Chris? Every week I put these fucking tips up, these advice, and you just bat them back down.
Munro that sounds too basic. That's like saying if you're struggling writing,
you won the fucking Nobel Prize.
Write again. Like it's just pointless in my opinion. Where else are you supposed to work the story out other than you in your head?
Like, you can, whose side are you on? Talk to your goats. Tell you what. Thank you very much.
Is that Vince?
It's not even, huh?
Is that Vince? Because if it's Vince, he agrees with you.
It is irrelevant who that is. She won the Nobel Prize, and
that's your wife.
It's my mum.
I agree with you, Chris. Your tips are great.
We're gonna have to put this for the interview on and chat with you from the means of Twitch.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mario. Mario loves me. Someone does. Anyway, because let's do that. Let's do this first because we're gonna lose out otherwise. Where is it? And I just gotta find it now. So, what? Oh, surely we gotta gift them squids, right?
Mm.
You happy to chat? Do we want to gift squids? The Circle of Death. Let's get Twitter up. Get your Twitter open if you can do that. And I'm pretty sure on Twitch you can multitask like that. Get your Twitter open, and then go to your Twitter. Sorry, I'll get to it, Chris. Thanks. Okay. The first is Jonathan Tyler at Jonathan_T19. He is an aspiring author. Please, Jonathan, remove aspiring. I don't like that. Occasional cop roll alien. What the? I've never heard of that before in my life. Anyone know what a copperolian is? He's a beta and arc reviewer. Still find my Twitter presence a bit weird. I'm going to be truthful to you here, Jonathan. It's about to become a lot weirder. He's got 2,105 followers.
That's not a small following. That's quite a lot of people.
Oh, are you again mocking me again?
Let's have a look.
T19. You just always got. I tell you what, you should prep the show, and then we can see
this guy.
Yeah. I can't find him.
We're sending him a squid.
Squid him, Jonathan. Jonathan. Underscore T19. What? I've done that, but I can't find him.
This is your family member.
I know. I've lost him. Oh bollocks! How do you plot your books writing community? Maxim Warren's messaged us. Using at the moment.
If we're going off the advice before, we think of them in our brains and then we write them out.
Novel Factory at the moment. I am actually using that, and as someone who's a big Panther, I've actually used it quite well, and not really because of. I got to say, normally it's because writing stuff down and plotting in that respect doesn't really do it for me. But this time, I had struggled last time with like the multiple copies of drafts I'd saved. That isn't an issue anymore with this software. Also, the websites I can save on there and all these sorts of things really help me out instead of actually just having a pile of things everywhere. And it's organized me a bit. And even though I don't use it really, that's what I've been using. So if you can send him.
I'm a little bit old school. I get a massive piece of paper and then I plot the word count on the piece of paper. And then when I go to write, I look at the next section that I need to write and just do it that way. So
I love your juicy vocab, Anya. What did Anya say? Oh, okay. One who constantly utters obscene things. Pretty much me. Can you ever imagine how someone in a real life situation might have worked out differently? No.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah. Just
almost like a butterfly effect.
Anyway, we've nearly been on an hour and we haven't started this bloody interview.
Oh yeah, and people should watch that because it's much better than what we've
yeah, they should. But we're gonna have to like back off. I'm a whore. Block. Mario's deleted. I would never do that to Mario.
What would you do to Mario?
Cook with him because we're still going to do that show one day, Mario. I'm going to hold you to that. We're going to do a live cooking show, and he's going to teach me how to make real Italian pasta because my nan used to make Italian pasta, but now she's dead. So she can't make pasta anymore, and it's been a while. So Mario's going to show me.
Mario's going to take the place of your nan.
I know you promised me to do this on the show many moons ago. So you might.
Well, Mario's actually coming on again, isn't he?
He is.
So he's coming on to talk about his new book in less than a few weeks, I think. I've got a schedule here. Let's have a look.
Oh, got a schedule with you, have you?
I have.
Oh,
we can reveal who's coming on Friday.
Okay. I can't remember, so this will be a reveal for me too.
Yeah. So let me have a look. Right. So we did Joanne Paulson. We had Kate Harrison. We had Kristen Bailey. We've had Will Dean tonight. Then on Friday, we have Julie Cohen, who wrote Spirited, and she won awards for that novel.
Very nice.
Then next Wednesday, so it's actually less than 2 weeks away, we have The Amazing Mario.
Oh, indeedy weedy.
So that's plenty of time for you to buy an apron, Chris. So
wait, when am I coming on?
Next Wednesday.
Next week?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I thought you said loads of things before next week.
No, I just read everyone who's been on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's December the 2nd, so that's Mario. I'll try not to reveal all of it.
As well, that he's coming on next week. Hey,
did we not
Mario? I don't know. You're the schedule man. Seems to be the thing.
Oh yeah, Mario's next week. So tune in for that. 'Cause they'll be good. And Chris and Mario are going to make bolognese together.
That's not next week. That's a different one.
Sweet bolognese.
Yeah, it's gonna be like. I'm not even gonna. Anyway, I'm gonna put this video on, and then when the video finishes, you will see the interview from earlier in all its glory, and the rambling we did when he was not there, and then we will still be interacting with you on the Twitch. So keep commenting, and it'd be fun. But are you ready for this? Do.
This is going to be fun because we can mock ourselves.
Mock ourselves. It's going to be
ourselves.
worth mocking indeed. I got to find the video. Okay, I'm going to play this.
Make sure it's the right one. Because the one you practicing for Mario's cooking. That could be embarrassing.
It's the apron. I can't see what's going on. Ready? It seems like we have issues on the audio, and Mr. Hooley's disappeared. This is not good news for our interview, and it just goes to show that pre-recording these things isn't the best way for us to go. It's back now. Yes, it's back that I'm on the show. It seems like we have. It's because the video wouldn't download, and there's a bit of an issue. So what we can do is try and get that interview put together somehow, or we could put it up raw as it was, because that is an option. But there's a lot of dead air between the questions, which is quite amusing at times. So, do you know what? I could just do that. Leave you messed the audio. Oh yeah, Hooli, it's my fault. Cheers, mate. Do you know what? We'll just do it this way, if I can do it that way. Not on that program at all. Excuse me a minute. Play. He didn't flash it. I haven't flashed everyone today, no. And do you know what? It wasn't that bad the first time around. All you people saying it was. Right. Let's just fast forward this on. And there's the fantastic snow. Okay. I can sort of do this, but you'll have to put up. Do you know what? I might be able to fast forward those things. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Oh, no, I've done that wrong. Ugh. Oh, my days. Right. Wait. Welcome to our first stream on Twitch. Okay. Got this. Okay, that one. And let's move that forwards to there. Get beer token promotion. This is someone. Is it seriously gone? Agreed to sponsor us on their own podcast. Oh my god! And it's quite a cool concept because he's doing. I have no answers here, guys. Romantic horror. He wrote a romantic. It's always worked that way before. Why is it not working? Romantic horror novel, basically, and turned it into a 15-part audio drama podcast, which is this is, and you can check that out. And super it's annoying. Cry in the Moonlight, and you can find that. And it is actually very cool. And Alan McGill, who wrote this, has actually narrated it himself as well. And there's the fantastic cover for that. So please check that out. We can hear it when we see you. Yes, I know. That's very good. But it's when I open the application and let's put for the video, which I can hear, which means you should be able to hear it. There it is. It's not working. So please check that out. So, Chris, are you ready for tonight's guest?
I cannot wait to introduce.
Can you hear it? Yeah.
Tonight's guest is absolutely fantastic. I've read his book recently, and it absolutely blew my mind. So, getting to chat to him tonight is going to be awesome.
Excellent, excellent. So, before we lose complete signal, hopefully it's not going to happen. But let's introduce tonight's guest. He is the author of Dark Pines, Red Snow, and Black River, and the last thing to burn to be released in January. It's Will Dean, who's just literally disappeared off our screen as I introduced him. Welcome to the Writing Community Chat Show. This is how we do things. And unfortunately, he is literally hailing from a snowy cabin in Sweden.
It is, and you're making me slightly nervous now because I hope it's a connection, not just deserted us, because he was. Who are these jokers? What's going on?
Yeah, I know he was chatting when the introduction song was on. Was like, oh, what's he saying there? But you know, it's an impressive story that he's got. So hopefully it is a tech issue, and it probably is because he, no joke, built this cabin in Sweden in the opening of a forest. He built himself a cabin, and then he's hibernated inside that cabin where he does his writing and reading, which is just an absolute insane concept.
Yeah, like he's got the life that we all want, really. He I want anyway. He's in seclusion. He is reading and writing every day. He built his own home that he lives in. He's got a beautiful dog. Yeah, and it just looks like a blissful, peaceful life. I'm looking forward to chatting to him about it if he comes back.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, there was some videos. He's got a great YouTube, by the way, and he does like sort of promotions and talks about how writer's block works and how first person, third person works, and all these great little video tips. But the whole time, there's like a backdrop of a spooky forest or a goat or a dog or something next to him, and it's just like absolute wilderness. And for someone who's written a book about a girl growing up in the log cabin in the forest, I was like, oh, this is weird. It's too close to home for me. Well, has he? Should we check message? Has he messaged you, Chris? Really?
I'm trying to look at that and be professional at the same time, which is quite
professional.
difficult.
We're a chat show. We're not here to be like the rest of the people.
I was like, he's seen it. He's seen the second link that I sent him, so hopefully he'll be back with us shortly.
Oh, do you reckon he will be, or do you reckon he's bailed?
I don't know. I'm hoping
I thought the intro was good.
You did change it without telling anyone. And you keep doing this, so
what did you not like that? Really?
I like the countdown. You see, I like the.
There's a countdown in the corner. Did you not see it?
Yeah, no, but you couldn't really see it. It was in a corner. Never put
okay.
baby in the corner. Oh, don't put
enough, obviously. I don't know. I don't know where Will Dean's gone. I'm sorry, guys. Will Dean is lost in the woods.
I wonder. Oh, that is he's like the guy from Frozen.
What do you mean?
What's his name?
Christoph.
Christoph. He's like, don't know where I am, but I'm lost in the woods.
Is that a song from Frozen?
Yeah, Frozen 2.
Is it?
You're not seeing it?
I have seen it, yeah.
Yeah. Did you miss that bit? Christoph singing. It's like his only bit in the whole song. He's confused.
I haven't taken that much notice of it, to be honest with you. Like we watched what is it called? There's a Christmas film on Netflix, and it's quite good. But we watched it about 6 times in one day the other day because my little girl wanted to watch it that many times.
Wow.
And it's not even like you can watch the whole thing. So you watch a bit of it, then it gets left on, then it gets turned off, and then it goes back on. And then you end up watching a film throughout the whole day. And it's really quite frustrating.
And it's not got a great song in it like Frozen 2.
It has, actually. What is this film called? It's got a really old, not really old, but like a famous actor in it. I can see it now. I don't know.
That title of the song?
No.
I can see it now. Christmas is just
Christmas
upon the horizon.
Have you seen that, The Christmas Chronicles, on Netflix? No? That's a great film, and it is good. Is it that cold up in your loft?
It's that cold.
Wow, Chris. This is not looking too good for Mr. Will Dean. And this is exactly why we are pre-recording this, guys, because he lives in a cabin under the sea. That's not a terrible thing.
So he said he couldn't hear us at all. Is there any other platform we can do it on?
He needs it. His satellite phone would perhaps be better. I don't think that's really a tech issue on our side. I think that's the fact he lives in a cabin in the woods, literally.
Oh, this is a... Can we Zoom call him?
It's going to be the same. It's video networking. Yeah. Even with just the audio coming through, like we had a 30-second conversation with him and he broke up. I don't see how we're going to actually fix this.
Oh, sugar.
The only thing I can suggest, genuinely, is that he joins. We'll just scrap this off. Go live at 8 o'clock as normal, and he can just message us in the chat, and we'll just chat to him in the chat with everyone else. which is
You
terrible.
can't just message us, surely. I mean, what about if we
What about everything?
could we WhatsApp him?
What, ring him?
Yeah.
You can try. What? Just hold your
But
phone up.
yeah, how do I could obviously get him on like that, but that's gonna be shocking.
It is. We could try and figure it out, but if you obviously knew that he had bad signal, otherwise we wouldn't have done this whole pre-recording. So perhaps it's an issue for him. Maybe isolation isn't all that good in the cabin, Chris Hooley.
Oh God.
Just in case we do play this video out, which we probably will. Worst case scenario, put it on our Patreon behind the scenes fuck ups. We joined Twitch today. Well, yesterday, kind of. And I spent a lot of time fiddling with Twitch, and I absolutely love the concept of how that could link in with our lives. But if any of you are out there, techie people, we stream through StreamYard. And that does, if you don't know, directly stream to Twitch, Instagram. Well, not Instagram, it's kind of a weird area. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of those things. So when we stream directly to Twitch through here, we're obviously not going through like an OBS system, or
is it because it's a video? If we sent him an anchor and we did a writing community chat show season 1 podcast styley, would that work?
It possibly could, but I will tell you an issue right now, which is kind of unbelievably ironic. That I will show you what's happening with Anchor, and this I checked earlier before I came home from work, and look what happens. That is Anchor, right? And that has been Anchor for the last hour and a half, and that is not good. That's never happened on Anchor. Hold our hands up. It's been a great service. The day we may need them in our desperate times, they're unavailable. And that is across the board. That is on, that's not the same screen popping up. So that's just fucking terrible.
So, Will, I don't know what to say, to be honest. We've never had this issue before.
Yeah, it's never happened to me before.
Honest.
Just tell him it can happen to anyone.
It can happen to anyone, including if you buy pills.
And I guess worse with age, yeah. Apparently. Oh, we got Will.
We've got him.
Is it going to work? This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm so sorry, guys. It's my Flintstones broadband. I think I'm in the dark ages.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, you're a lot clearer this time than last time. So, welcome to the show. We literally rambled on absolute nonsense since you left, hoping you would return, and here you are.
Yeah.
He's looking quite confused again.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's great.
So, Will, I'm gonna make these interview questions as short and sweet as possible.
It's honestly, my broadband is like, it's like going back 10 years.
So the last thing to burn is such a brilliant book. Can you tell us where you got the ideas from? And if we have a bit more time, we'll go into it a bit more, if you don't despair again.
Sounds good.
He's about 2 minutes behind her.
Well, thank you very much for that. Yeah, the idea came to me in 2016. So I'm lying in bed. It's around. I know there's a massive time lag. I do apologize for that. It's probably all my fault. But I was lying in bed 2016 around midnight. I had this image in my head in that weird time between consciousness and sleep, which I think is a really fertile time for your imagination. And I saw in my mind's eye this extremely flat, featureless fenland landscape. And then I saw this little half derelict farm cottage, and I saw a woman there, and I knew that she couldn't leave. She couldn't get out of this place, and she wanted to get out of this place. And I wanted to understand her story. And that's the kind of area I'm from, on the edge of the fens in the East Midlands. And it's quite an eerie place. And instantly I knew that there was something there, and I wanted to understand her backstory and what would happen to this person, this character. So the entire book is about her. And basically that night or that morning between midnight and 6 a.m., I had the entire idea for the book.
That is pretty impressive that comes to you. So, we always talk about authors and their inspirations and finding it, and coming from a dream, literally having that entire concept is pretty impressive. But what's also impressive is the whole reason behind why your internet is kind of terrible, is the fact that you basically built a cabin in the woods in Switzerland, and this is where you reside now. This is where you do your work. How is this a thing? Because it's absolutely fantastic.
This is true. This is true. Although, to be honest, I'm not in Switzerland, which would be a lot more civilized. I'm in Sweden. So I'm surrounded by moose and wolves, and it's very wild and cold up here. But yeah, I take full responsibility for this terrible decision because no broadband, no takeaways for the last 8 years, no running water. When we got here, there was no toilet. So our toilet was like a little hut with a compost thing in it that was 50 meters away in the woods. And but I fell in love with this piece of land. My wife is Swedish, so that kind of makes sense. And yeah, we've been here now for 8 years full time. We don't have any neighbors. You can walk for about a day in any direction and you're still in the same forest. And we use our own wood for heating and cooking, and we have our own well for water. So it's a bit of a strange life. But it's well suited to reading and writing. So it works for us.
So, Will, in The Last Thing to Burn, you've got one of the most iconic villain type characters that I've ever read. He is absolutely vile, in the best type of way. So how did he come about, and where he seems so real as well? So where did he come from, Len?
Some dark place, I'm not sure. I thank you for saying that. Len is, like, for me, writing him is quite terrifying because he's very quietly menacing. It takes you a while in the book to understand him, or not even to understand him, but to get your grips on him. And he's very controlling, and he's a very bad man in a very quiet way. And I had a knot in my stomach every time I wrote and rewrote the drafts of this book, and I had a knot in my stomach every time I edited it and had to reread it because I felt so invested in the main character and in her kind of survival story. So yeah, he is a bad guy. He's a bad man. And I mean, I've never met a man like that, thank goodness. But I don't know. I don't know where he came from. Maybe I shouldn't even think about that too hard. I don't know. But he was a dark guy to write.
And through reading the novel, John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men appears in it quite a lot. It's quite a significant book to main character. Why is that? Were you forced to read Of Mice and Men like a lot of people in the UK study at GCSE? Why did you decide to include that novel in your story?
I hope he's heard that question, Chris. You'll have to ask it again.
Yeah, I'm going to ask it again in case you haven't heard it. But John Steinbeck's novel Of Mice and Men appears in the book as quite a significant book to your main character. Why did you decide to do that? Did you have to study it like everybody else in GCSE in England, or is there another?
I think I got most
reason?
of that question. Yeah, Of Mice and Men is really important to the main character. It's the only book that's in this cottage. And I kind of feel like I understand that a little bit because when I was growing up in East Midlands, I didn't come from a bookish family. None of my family members read. None of them went to school past the age of 16. So they thought it was strange that I was a bookish kid. And, you know, oftentimes the only book in my...
Oh,
Oh God. We were getting such a good response.
welcome to real live streaming, guys, where, you know, we're knocking on 80 odd shows now. We started off on a podcast. We had some great interviews, but they were pretty terrible in terms of quality. We've got to this point, which has been fantastic. But this is reality of live telly. And to be honest, we've done more shows live without that many errors compared to blinking TV shows lately. So it's just a shame that this is happening. And
The only way we could make this more of a risk is if we started throwing in a few snakes and stuff. So maybe when maybe when I'm a celeb, I've moved out of Wales, you can grab a few off them.
Well, do you know what? They're not using much, are they? Just a couple of pigeons. But that is something that's on the cards, by the way. If you're watching and you want to support this show and you want it to get where we want it to get to, then subscribe and do all the stuff you need to do, because we talked about these crazy things people want us to do, and I'm a Celeb WCCS style is definitely on the cards, as well as calendars and all sorts of weird stuff. Hey, Chris, shearing sheep and tattoos and all sorts. Yeah, he's back.
Yes,
it's back. Yay!
Guess who's back? Back again.
I'm sorry again.
It's all good. It's all good. We got to a bookish kid.
I was just talking about Of Mice and Men. Shall I keep talking about it? Yeah. So often the only book in my house was like the Argos catalogue. So I was so curious and so socially awkward. I just wanted to read. I wanted input, you know, kind of like Short Circuit in the movie. I just wanted stuff to read. So I used to read the Argos catalogue obsessively, and that makes its appearance in the book. But when I could go to a mobile library truck, you know, a van that used to go around from village to village and get a couple of books, that was like the most valuable thing in the world to me. And so I know the value of having a book, you know, having a Roald Dahl and rereading it and rereading it and rereading it. So it gives you a degree of escapism and of hope. And my main character in this book needs all the escapism and the hope that she can possibly get. And Of Mice and Men has quite obvious parallels to her kind of situation in a way, and just that kind of dream that's always slightly out of your grasp. And yeah, it is also a book I read at GCSE and I'm quite familiar with, and it had quite a special place for me when I was 14 or whatever. Yeah.
So, Will, Chris, you're inspiring people to write books because you're force feeding them that book that's still decades old.
There's a moment in the novel, I'd probably say about halfway through, where it really does take a jump into, like, it's really, really good, and then it just goes from here to like here almost immediately, with one little twist. I don't want to give it away, obviously, but I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. And that person's character in particular, I thought she was so well written. Is she based on anyone in particular, or is her sort of, because at the end of the book, and I'm not posing this question very well, but at the end of the book, you acknowledge certain people for their sort of stories and advice. So did you research this book in a more personal level?
That's a good question. Not really. I researched a lot of the minutiae of the book and of the subject matters in the book, the important stuff. I wanted to do the main character justice, so I did do a lot of research into that. But in terms of characterization, I just spend a huge amount of time on it, like an unhealthy amount of time, visualizing and daydreaming my characters. So that the initial idea came to me in 2016, but it took me like 4 years to write this book. And the first draft, I should say, took me 3 weeks. I write a draft really, really like a zombie in 3 weeks, but it's taken me all these years to kind of get the characters to the point where I'm happy with them and get the dialogue natural, and things like Len's dialect in the book. That was a difficult thing to do because my natural instinct is to go full on kind of Fenland dialect, but that's difficult to read and it kind of throws the reader out of the book. So I try to pare that back and make it just really as simple and as stripped back as I possibly could. So those characters, I do a lot of research, but the characters all come from me just kind of imagining, trying to be empathetic and imagining that person in that context, I guess.
One of the things that really stands out as well to people that I've talked to that have had the opportunity of reading the book, have said just how well you captured the female voice, and how surprised they were as well. Obviously, with you being a bloke, capturing this really unique voice in the novel. So how did you work on that from a writer's perspective? Because I know a lot of our listeners are really interested in how you can write convincingly from another perspective.
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't really, I find this question really difficult to answer because, and I get this a lot, with my two Vermoody Sun books and with this book, I just try and do my best. I think you owe your readers and you owe your characters to go above and beyond and do a huge amount of work and a huge amount of thinking. And I don't know, I think any good writer can write outside of their own experience, as long as they do the research, they have empathy, they think it through, then I think it's possible to do. How I do it, I'm not sure. A lot of it's on a kind of a subconscious level. I just try and think a lot before, a lot of the writing isn't actually typing on my laptop, it's actually thinking. How would she react in this situation? How would she feel about this? And I would say that I feel my way through a first draft. I don't think a lot during a first draft. It's just a big emotional experience. It's very exhausting, and I just feel my way through it. And then at the end, I come out with something, and then I can work on it in my own time. And if it takes 5 years for that book to be published, I don't care. It's going to be published when it's ready. And yeah, it's quite an instinctive thing. It's not a very intellectual thing for me.
So there's
I think
two
I also
things.
should give credit to the fact that all of the strong, impressive people around me as a kid were women. Sometimes in difficult situations, and those women, go on.
No, carry on. That's fine.
Okay, I was just going to say that a lot of the most inspiring characters when I was growing up were women, whether it's my great grandma or my mom or my sister or whatever. And a lot of the men around me were kind of closed off and distant, and in a way that kind of Northern and Midlands men often were back then, or whatever. So the women were the glue that held everything together, and they were the people that I was talking to most of the time. And I think that's made me fascinated in writing from their point of view.
So my question was, there's two things that I'll never do the same again, and that's watch Match of the Day and go to the spa. So those little British sort of values I've touched on in the review, and the sort of the knowledge that people from Britain will understand. So why did you include those in the book, and why did you think that was important?
I don't know really. I think it's just because that's life, those kind of things make up the fabric of life. And with her having this very isolated, controlled life, I think some of those simple things like the food from the spa shop and the watching the snooker on TV, they just become much more important and much more pivotal to day-to-day life, because she hasn't got anything else to hang on to. She doesn't have friends she's seeing. She doesn't have hobbies. She doesn't have any interests. She doesn't have, all that's been stripped away from her. Those parts of her identity which she had back in Vietnam, they've been stripped away from her. So these things are kind of the cornerstones of her existence, are these very mundane things that you and I don't even notice anymore. But for her, the Match of the Day theme tune is a big thing, and the fact that Len wants certain dishes on certain days of the week, the big thing, and I just think it kind of intensifies the horror when you realize that this is a life that's been reduced to this on this farm.
Can we go back in time a little bit here before sort of writing became something as I guess, more than a hobby for you? When you started writing, Dark Pines came out and it got a lot of attraction from a lot of people, including awards and celebrity authors. How did that feel going from writing something? And did you expect it at the time to become anything more than just a debut book?
No, I expected like very little from that book because number one, it's quite a weird book. It's, there's troll carving sisters. It's like a Twin Peaksian kind of Fargo type novel. It's a very odd book, and it was published, it was picked up. I was very lucky for it to be picked up by an indie publisher who are brilliant, but I didn't expect it to do what it did, and I don't think they did either. Like, I think it was a surprise to everybody, and just a lot of random things happened to make it make what happened happen. Like Val McDermott picked it for her New Blood panel at Harrogate. That was a huge thing. And often those books that she chooses are from, big publishers, huge debut novels. And my novel was not like that. I had a small advance. I was very lucky to get that. I was lucky to get a book deal. And then it blew up. And the reason why it blew up was word of mouth. People were talking about it. This new bizarre book with a deaf reporter as the main character, set in small town creepy Sweden. People were talking about it, and that's a dream come true. It wasn't a marketing spend that made that happen. It was just people chatting about it, which was I don't think anybody ever expects that. It's just really lucky when it happens.
One of your main I guess the main character in that story, which is a series, which is different to the book you released now, was a deaf character. And it's very interesting for someone to go down in that route and to write someone who's deaf. What inspired you to make that character deaf, and how did you tackle that as a writer?
Next time we'll send the questions by carrier pigeon.
Oh, he's refreshed. Oh, I just removed him. Hello?
I can see you. Can you see me?
Oh, yeah. Did you hear the last question? No.
Okay. No, sorry, I didn't.
Oh, don't worry with this as well. I can actually, because we're pre-recording this, if I get the time, I'll cut out all this dead air, so don't worry about that. What I was saying was, Dark Pines obviously was a series unlike what you're releasing now in January, and one of your main characters was a deaf character. And how did you tackle that as a writer, trying to work on that, and why was that a thing in the first place? Why did you think that would be an attribute to your story?
Good question. Yeah, so the Tuva Millicent books is a series. So I'm working on Tuva number 5 right now. So she is just for me, a really interesting character that I don't quite understand yet. I haven't got to the bottom of her yet. She's quite complicated, and I like that, and I need that to sustain me writing more and more Tuva books. But with Dark Pines, it was again a visual. So I saw in my mind's eye this huge forest, dark pine forest, much larger than the forest I live in. And I zoomed in my mind's eye, and I saw this gravel track snaking through the pine trees. And I zoomed in, I saw a pickup truck, and I looked through the window, and there was a woman driving it. She had hearing aids. And I was like, I want to know her story. What's her story? What's she going to? And she was reporting, she was investigating a crime in the woods. And I don't know where these things come from. I really don't. I don't question it too much. They just come, and then I roll with it. But then when I realized she was deaf, then yeah, I did a huge amount of research in terms of reading deaf bloggers and deaf writers, looking at deaf YouTubers, channels, that kind of thing, to try and understand what her experience would be and the technicalities of her hearing aids in that season in Sweden when it's extremely wet outside and that kind of thing. And in Red Snow, the sequel, it gets down to -25, -30 Celsius, and how that would affect things. But I love writing Tuva because, you know, my standalone books are very intense and very tense. And the Tuva books are a lot more light and shade. There's a lot more humor in them. And there's that kind of feeling of familiarity you get when you get hooked into a Netflix series and you watch series after series and you want those characters to come back again. So I do enjoy both things. I enjoy the intensity of the standalone books, and I also enjoy this long arc of the Tuva books. You know, I don't know if there's going to be 10 or 20 Tuva books, but I enjoy writing them a lot.
So, Will, one of the things that I found really inspirational the other day on Twitter is when you shared your rejections with people. One of our main body of listeners are new writers and writers that are looking to get into, you know, publishing and have their books published. What advice would you give to them, other than obviously not giving up?
Yeah, I really feel like there's a responsibility on any writer that's managed to get an agent or managed to get a book deal to try and help out the next bunch of writers coming up, because it's such a weird industry, and the odds are so bad, and it's so difficult to keep on going. And I remember when I was getting rejected year after year, I didn't have any contacts in the industry, and I found the whole thing overwhelming. Because, you know, I can imagine if you're like a London person whose uncle is an agent or something, it's not that difficult. But for most of us, we don't know anybody in that world at all. And it's a very intimidating kind of world. So I was just like most writers, in that I was just hoping that I'd written something okay. And then I was sending it out to agents. You know, I was in Sweden sending it out to agents in London, hoping for the best and getting rejected. And I think, you know, in terms of advice, I talk a lot about this on my YouTube channel, Will Dean Forest Author. I try, pretty much every video is me trying to give some confidence and some support to authors coming through, because it's so hard. And I remember being in the query trenches and almost giving up 100 times, because it's just like, you have no idea if your writing is good or if your cover letter is bad or if your synopsis isn't working. You have no idea. It's so hard to get good feedback. So I would say my main advice is to read. That's like the number one important thing. You think the most important thing is to have a really slick cover letter with a brilliant blurb that just grabs the attention of an agent. And that is important. Do that. But the main thing is your writing. And the only way you get better as a writer is to read. Like now, I'm where I'm at now, I've got so much more improving that I need to do. And that comes from reading authors who are better than I am, you know. Some of those authors were writing 100 years ago. Some of them are writing now, but they're writing in Peru. Some of them are writing now, but in a totally different genre. And I find that I only get better writing if I read a lot. So that means I sacrificed TV for 4 years, no TV for 4 years, which wasn't a huge sacrifice because there's not a lot of good TV here in Sweden. And my Netflix was very stuttery. But I tried to just take it seriously. You know, I'm a big fan of Stephen King's On Writing. And he talks about just you got to do it. You got to take it seriously and do it. So that's what I did, much to the disappointment of my wife, who really missed TV for all those years. But I think you need to read. You need to keep confident. You need to. It helps some people if they have a good group of people around them, like a writers group or a couple of friends who are also querying. That's good. Other advice, I mean, talk to authors that you love. Like if you've read a author's books and you love their work, then reach out to them with a question if you want to. I don't mind anybody reaching out to me with a question on Twitter or on Instagram, because like I say, I feel a bit of a responsibility to just help out in any little way I can, because it's such, the odds are not in your favor and the odds are stacked against so many people. And some people have a little bit of an advantage in some ways. I want to help all the other people who don't have an advantage and just like answer questions, give a little bit of feedback on the query letter, give a little bit of feedback on a synopsis. But the main thing is being a great writer, or being as good as you can get, and not being afraid when you're submitting, if you're getting rejected, to put that project aside and say, I can do better. I'm just going to read 100 books this year, and then I'm going to write a new book and I'm going to submit that. Because if your debut comes out when you're 35 or 55, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that that debut is something that you're really happy with.
Yeah, it's something that we aim to do here, Will, as well, to really help people and try and get them off the ground. But I've seen some of your YouTube videos, which are fantastic, by the way. I love how the wilderness just appears in all of them, and your Q&A signs. It's all of it's fantastic. So we understand that journey here. And there was a question that has now slipped out of my mind, which is fantastic. Go on, Chris, you say.
Yeah, we have some staple writing community chat show questions, and one of those is, if you could change the ending to any novel you've ever read, and it ties in quite nicely, obviously, because you're just talking about reading, which novel would that be and why?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question. I'm gonna slightly change your question a little bit, but try and answer it. So if I could change any book in the world, it would be my favorite book, which is The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which I think is the most perfect, horrific, wonderful book of this terror kind of underpinned by love between a father and son. And if I could change anything about that book, it would be to hear much more from the perspective of the mother or the wife, that female character. Because the whole book is brilliant on male relationships and on their perspectives. But I want to know why she took that decision that she took when the world ended. I want to know what was going through her mind in relation to her son and her husband. I want to know much more about her and her attitude towards those final desperate days in their house before they hit the road. So that's something I'm desperate to know.
So if a publishing house gave you the opportunity to have a crack at that, would you actually do it?
Hell no. Not in a million years. I am 1,000 miles away from Cormac McCarthy. He's one of my heroes, and no, I couldn't do it justice. I want to read it, but there's no way I could try to write a sentence like he can, honestly. But no. Hell, I'm worried just having that idea in my head.
We have got a question here, actually. We've got a couple in, but we'll try and get through a couple. And it says, occasionally I see traditionally published authors talk about submitting proposals to their agent. What is that exactly? Is it like a synopsis? And that's from Nissa Ryan.
That's a good question. It's not normally just a synopsis. It's normally a query package, and the exact nature of the query package depends on the agent you're submitting to. They all have slightly different requirements and guidelines, so check the agent's websites. But basically what you're doing is you're sending off a sample of your book, the first 50 pages, the first 5 chapters, something like that, so they can see your writing and where the story starts. You're sending off a cover letter, which is this really important letter, which should be brief and should outline the title of your book, a little blurb selling the book, something about the comp titles. So whether it's Gone Girl meets Harry Potter, heaven forbid, something like that. So a little bit about you as a writer and where you come from and why you're submitting to that agent. So that is the document where the agent reads it and goes, okay, I'm interested in this book. I'm interested in this writer. I'm interested in this project. I want to know more. Then your first chapters, they have to be as good as you can get them. You know, you need to proofread them. You need to rewrite them a bunch of times. Your opening sentence, your opening paragraph needs to be hugely strong. You need to work on your chapter endings, that whole thing. And then the synopsis is more of a technical document outlining the structure of your entire book. But that query package as a whole needs to be as strong as it can be, because all agents receive, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of these a week or a month. And yours needs to be good enough to stand out.
It's a lot of advice that you're following up there. Is in do it if you want to do it properly and get it done, and don't mess around with it really. So don't go in half-assed, I guess. And this one might be one you can answer, because it's a good question again. How can I write in a Chinese accent? Is there such a thing as writing with an accent? And how do I describe accents? From Blake Llewell.
This is really difficult to do.
Yeah.
I think I would say in general, less is more. Like if you have a character and you want to use their accent or use their dialect, you don't need to do very much, and you just plant a little seed in the mind of the reader. So that can be a little turn of phrase, the cadence of the sentence, the way the sentence is structured. It can be them referring to a particular thing that an American or that a South African wouldn't refer to, something like that. It could be like, you just need to be subtle, because less is more. If you go in heavy-handed, it sounds terrible, it reads terrible. So you need to be really, really subtle. And when you write it, this is the beautiful thing about being a writer, as you guys know, you write it and then you have the ability to improve it and improve it and improve it. If that takes years, it takes years. You just got to get down and do it, and don't give up until it's good enough. So if your dialect is too heavy-handed and it sounds just terrible, then you just keep working on it. You know, some of my books I've done 20, 23, 25 edits on. Just keep working at it. Keep stripping back that dialect until you get it good. Once it's in a bookshop, you can't change it. You know, all my books, I'd like to go back and fiddle with it and change things, but once it's done, it's done. So use that time to get things like accents and dialect right. But I think the only major dialect I've ever written was this East Midlands dialect in The Last Thing to Burn, which is a dialect I'm super familiar with. It's how my granddad talked. It's how I talked originally. And I went in too thick, and then I pared it back. So yeah, just be very careful with accents. Be empathetic to the reader. I mean, think about how is the reader going to enjoy this? How is the reader? You don't need to smash a reader in the face with something. You just need to be very, very gentle, and they will understand. They're sophisticated people. They'll get it.
One of the other questions that we've got on the show, that's a staple question, is if you could take any character and actually have a crack at that character and make that character your own, which character would that be and why?
Honestly, I hate the idea of it. I'm terrified of the idea of it. I'm resisting this question, and I'm sorry, but like, they're not my characters. How can I write them or change them? Like, my characters are very personal to me. I don't want anybody else writing them, and I would feel terrible if I went and started writing a Val McDermott character, or try to write Rebus, you know, Rankin's book, or try to write somebody from a Sarah Waters novel. Like, I just wouldn't do it justice. Maybe it would be fun. I don't think it would be fun, but I would screw it up, and my heart wouldn't be in it. So no, I can't do it.
I've got some easier questions if you'd like some easier ones. Coffee or tea?
A bit of both.
Wow, that's an easy way out there. Summer or winter?
Probably winter. I like winters here. It's very dark. A lot of fires, a lot of outdoor work, clearing my forest track. I've got like a 2-kilometer forest track, and I need to fill the holes and clear the snow, and I enjoy that. I do that with an audiobook or a podcast. Yeah, probably winter. Summer's obviously nice, but winter is like, you make the most of it yourself. So
yeah. What audiobook do you like? Have you got anything specific that's good?
I recently read Transcendent Kingdom by Yagi Assi, which is really brilliant. She's an amazing writer. She wrote Homegoing, which is one of my favorite books, which is this huge, sprawling debut set over 3 centuries and 2 continents. Like,
Wow.
I don't think I could do that now. And she did that as a debut, yeah. And it holds together so well. But in terms of audiobooks, I mean, I love the stories, but I also love the narrator. So Donna Tartt's The Secret History, she narrates it herself. And I actually listened to that audiobook when I was building out the inside of my cabin. So I was building window frames and the sides of windows, the frames of windows, with like a circular saw and painting and sanding, listening to her on a speaker. And I'll never forget where I was when I read that book for the first time on audio, and she was narrating it. She's got a brilliant voice. And also Stephen King has narrated a few of his books, which I love listening to. He's a real hero of mine.
I'm currently going through the Sandman by Neil Gaiman, and that's read wonderfully by a lot of people.
I should look into that. I've never read Neil Gaiman. I should do that.
No, one of the other questions that we got that's a bit morbid is, imagine you're on your deathbed, you're looking back at your writing career and your writing history. What are you happy with? What success do you?
I think on my deathbed, I don't want to be thinking about writing. First of all, I want to be thinking about my kid, my grandkids. But if I was to have a moment of self-indulgence, which I think that would be, to think about my writing, I would just hope that I've given some pleasure and some interest to a bunch of readers around the world. That's all it is, really. I just, I think you can get very sidetracked as a writer by publishing and by how to do great marketing and what bestseller list you're hitting or what award you're being shortlisted for. It doesn't matter, and none of that matters. It's all about storytelling. I really believe this, and I think I'm lucky in that I live in this strange wood a long way from the publishing capital, so I get to focus just on storytelling, and all I want to do throughout my life is to become a better storyteller. Like, have good ideas and tell them well, and then move on to the next one. I'm a big believer in momentum and not getting stuck and like dwelling on any success you have or any failures you have. Just move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. Keep getting better. And then deathbed, yeah, maybe on my deathbed I'll regret not having a crack at that Cormac McCarthy change. I don't know, but I doubt it.
Amazing. Finally, before we wrap up, because we are going to have to wrap up soon, where can people find your work? And I know I mentioned your YouTube channel. It is fantastic, so please do check that out. There's some fantastic helpful tips and videos on there, so please check that out. But have you got a website that they can go and find your work on?
No, I don't have a website because I always spend too much time like updating it, and I want to just spend time reading and writing. But I am on Twitter and Instagram and, like you said, YouTube, Will Dean Forrest author, and Facebook. But I mean, people can find my books everywhere. The Last Thing to Burn, there's a Waterstones special edition with sprayed edges, a signed edition, which is a really beautiful thing. And then, yeah, I would say just support indie bookshops if you can, and real bookshops. But yeah, I'm around on social media along with my St. Bernard quite a lot.
So another question that we've got on the show is, if somebody had to start with one Will Dean book and they only had time to read one, which one would you want them to read and why?
Well, at the moment, The Last Thing to Burn isn't out until January. So I say right now, start with Dark Pines. That's the beginning. It's set in autumn about now. And it's a Twin Peaks style, Broadchurch style, weird murder mystery set in the forest, in the vast forest of Sweden, and in a very small, creepy little town. If you don't want to start with that, if you want to escape a little bit, then start with Black River, which was my third Tuva Moodyson book, but they all kind of exist as standalone novels, and that came out this year, and that's set in midsummer. So if you want to escape to summertime and to these weird fever dream parties that are held in Sweden where it never gets dark, it's light throughout the night and everybody goes a little bit odd, then start with Black River.
Nice.
Awesome. Anything else, Chris?
No, I just, like you said before, I think it's a great honor to speak to you. I've thoroughly enjoyed your book and I've reviewed it and it's on the website and stuff as well. And I'm slowly working my way through the Will Dean back catalogue. So, yeah, got a reader, a constant reader, if you like Stephen King reference.
Well, thank you so much for it. I really appreciate that, and thank you for your review. You know, that means a lot. I really I appreciate that very much, and I'll keep writing.
Fantastic. We will leave links to your social media and your YouTube channel in the descriptions of this and when we post it around social media, so people can find it. But thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been very jumpy and the delay's gone from half a second to 30 seconds, but we can hopefully edit that out before we put this up in a bit, and we'll put it all together. But thank you so much for joining us all the way from your cabin, which is absolutely fantastic. And we love your YouTube channel as well. So thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure.
I think we should wave now because it might work.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a long goodbye. Just because you gave a massive outro.
Didn't talk for that long, did I?
I think it took some time to get there.
Yeah.
But he's a very handsome guy, so.
It's got beautiful hair.
Thank you very much, both of you. This has been really fun, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll end it there. Well, what can we say? That seems like a genuinely great interview, and I'm a bit gutted that it was like that with the signal, because he seems like a very genuinely amazing guy with amazing hair. His stories sound fantastic. The way he gets the ideas from, and just the attitude towards his writing in general is fantastic. Thank you guys so much for being part of this and tuning in. You know, everything we've done, where we started from, has come from dodgy introductions and bad technology to get to where we got to today. And that was no example of where we got to today. If you're watching for the first time, it will be better. It will be better from forevermore. So thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for joining in. Please hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, download our podcast, share it around, because without your support, we can't do much else. And thank you so much for showing up, and look forward to Friday, when we have another great show, and it won't be pre-recorded, so it will be live. And thank you. So this is just from me, because Mr. Hooley is on the chat, and thank you guys. We'll see you Friday. Goodbye.